Lefty Bob Sampson, you're on deck. Doc Wilson, you're now on the hold.
Well, my poem is based on a true story, mostly. And it also reminds me of a song that my daddy used to sing called The Big Old Whammer Bull. Well, my daddy bought a big old Whammer Bull. He had those great horns that stuck straight back, and his nose kind of pointed toward the sky with those long droopy ears, and he was jet black. He weighed about 1,750 pounds, but he was really long and lean. My daddy called him Little Abner. Now he scared a lot of folks, but really, that bull wasn't mean. I remember one morning Mama opened the kitchen door, and Little Abner stuck his head right in. He just looked around at everybody as if to say, well, how about a biscuit? And by the way, where have y'all been? One time a little Hereford bull made a run at him. And Little Abner, he just kind of turned and made a dip. It sure surprised that old Hereford when Little Abner caught him under the belly and turned him for a flip. He was agile as a cat when he'd move, and that old hump would just kind of flop back and forth, to and fro. I've seen him sidle right up next to a high fence, and without hesitation, over he'd go. So there wasn't any way to keep that bull at home, because he could get out about anywhere. But he produced such good calves, my daddy didn't much care. Sometimes a neighbor would call and say, your bull's over here in my pasture. And Daddy'd say, okay, I'll get in my truck and be over there after him. Well, he'd get some feed, put it in a bucket, and set it up back of the truck and sit there and wait. And pretty soon along would come Little Abner, and he'd walk right up in that truck, and Daddy'd close the gate. Little Abner was just liable to show up anywhere in the winter when someone was feeding cattle. I remember the time a friend of ours told us about the time that bull surprised him and really got him rattled. Said he's pouring some feed in the trough one morning, and seeing that bull wasn't something he'd expect. But when he turned around, Little Abner was standing so close he could feel him breathing down his neck. Then one time someone called and said, say, I saw your bull walking down Highway 53. And Daddy said, well, I reckon there's not much telling where that bull might be. Well, there was a little community nearby called Loco, so he thought he'd just go over there and see him. And sure enough, when he got there, Little Abner was walking right down the middle of the street. He was just ambling along, looking at folks, not really caring about where he'd been. Now, Daddy could have really been mad at that bull, but seeing him like that only made him grin. I guess Little Abner had seen all the countryside, and it was clear there was more to be found. And I reckon that's the day Little Abner decided it was time for him to go to town. Thank you.